back to the channel, and today we are still looking at our war from Clash United. And before the replays get wiped, I wanted to do a base breakdown of my own base, and I'm going to be giving you guys the link and providing you guys with this base. It's pretty good, especially for like the 5v5 scene, or I guess for the like the Supercell Clan War Leagues and stuff. It's kind of a really trolly base, and it's definitely not one of the favorite bases for people to attack. So before we get into the replays, I'm going to be showing you the different ways that it was, attacked by Clash United. And again, their 13s are incredibly strong. So the fact that it took 4 hits kind of shows the strength that the base has. So some things that you might start seeing more commonly in base building at Town Hall 13 is going to be these uh, one building compartments kind of tied to these larger compartments, and then the same thing like down here on these corners. And the reason for that is not because they're doing anything particular with the storage itself. It's still a pretty easy funnel. You can still warden walk it. There's nothing crazy going on. But what they end up doing is, because wall breakers are pretty much unstoppable at this point, especially when, in big wars, the majority of people will keep super wall breakers or save them, whatever they got to do. These compartments here are strictly because if I send in a wall breaker from here, it's going to target this wall. But if I have a compartment like this and this wall junction is sticking out farther than the wall here, then I'm going to have to angle my wall breaker to come in here in order to avoid that wall breaker kind of going to this corner, right? So it's basically extending the range that the wall break won't work coming from this direction. All right, and the same thing from this direction. If I wanted to wall break there, this building has to go down first. And as we all know, sometimes when you're planning your attacks, say you drop your queen in here and you want her to wrap this way so that you can wall break here. If you wait for this moment where she clears this and then do the wall break here, there's always that chance where she goes that way. Maybe you don't set the correct funnel over here. So it's just to make it more difficult in general for your wall breaks to work. And then the same thing down here. Like if I was coming from this direction and I wanted to wall break here, there's a chance that if I send like a wall breaker from this direction to try to break in, that it goes to this DE drill, so it needs to go down first. Just basically there to make it more difficult. If I wanted to queen charge in here, get the wall break, that's too easy. Come in here, and I wanted to do a second layer break. If I send a wall breaker in from here, the chances are that it's going to go for this DE drill instead of for this RC platform. And then same thing for this elixir storage up top. So well placed one building compartments around the base are a very effective way to kind of defend against the wall break getting in super deep. All right, and then we also have down here, obviously it's kind of a bait base. I have the CC way on the outside, protected by 3 of the heroes, so kind of a common thing. And then the single Inferno, got the Skellies here, all the Teslas here, covered by giant bombs. So basically what I'm defending here is any sort of back end, because usually on bases like this, people tend to leave this area of the base for the backside. They tend to end here. So what I'm trying to do here is, one, with the CC, I'm not going to be running something that like a hound that can be ignored, or like 3 ice golems which can be ignored with air. You want to make sure on a base like this you're running something that, 1, can't be ignored, and 2, is very difficult to lure. So without knowing that the Teslas are here, this might seem like a pretty easy lure to just like put an ice golem or like a giant or something to get the lure. But with all the Teslas here, plus the wizard tower, plus the warden and the ground exposed, that giant isn't going to last long enough to get the full lure, because I'm coming with like, I think like 15 archers and a bunch of goblins, super goblins, and then a dragon, right? So the dragon is in there because a lot of times on bases like this, Town Hall 13, they'll just ignore the CC. And the reason for that is because if it's something like 15 archers and a hound, they can just use like a Sui Lalo and bring a poison for the archers, right? So the dragon obviously cannot be poisoned. So you want to make sure that you have a troop in there that targets ground and air that can't be killed with a poison, and that's going to be the dragon. and that's going to actually work in my favor on a couple of these replays. So we're going to go ahead and cover that. And then obviously I'm looking for, the kind of clear the sides, sending all the dragons with the blimp over top. Tornado catches the blimp, and then the SAM kills the blimp before it gets to the town hall. Everything kind of passes around at this point because, the defense is the way these rings work is you got a space here, so 2 tiles because of the wall. So, building troops will gradually go this way. Same thing over here, kind of go this way. So if I can bait that over the top blimp, even with a tome, the tornado stops it with the tome, and then the SAM eventually kills it, and then those troops get locked in here. And then by that troop being locked in there, when the blimp goes down, it'll destroy the expo. So that is forcing pathing to go this way just from the expo being down, which forces troops to go like this. Okay, so that's the plan there. It's kind of defending overall. And then I have the same thing in case someone tries to blimp directly from over here. I got a SAM right here. They got to go through all these heroes and Teslas and stuff. And then I'm using the sweepers to defend the blimp or the queen charge coming in from these directions. Okay, so I'm kind of, you got to use defenses to kind of complement one another, not just defend like the Yeti and the blimp entry on one side. You got to kind of figure out different ways to defend, and this one is a good example of like a complementary defense. Like for example here, right, I'm covering this wizard tower with the SAM. Now I know that 2 loons here will trigger the SAM, so I'm using I'm anticipating like a Yeti bomb on one of these compartments, and I'm using these double spring traps to kind of toss off the Yeti so they can lose value, not really get what they want. Same thing with the spring trap here. Yes, this is not a defense and it's sitting in between, but Yetis don't target just off defenses. So the plan would be, the blimp itself kills this on the drop, kills this on the drop. Yetis would go down this way with the Valk, and then boom, spring traps plus the RC plus the scatter shot kind of limit the value that you're going to be able to get. And again, a SAM protecting on the outside, and then a SAM protecting on the inside for anything trying to pass from the top side. So pretty decent base. You're going to see that these holes in the wall don't really do much because the walls just aren't really a big deal anymore. And I don't mean that like compartments aren't a big deal. I mean like it's actually being more useful for a lot of bases to have open wall segments to prevent, the queen taking a reliable queen charge path or a kill squad taking a reliable path. The open walls kind of throw that off. So you're going to see that doesn't really affect this base per se, but we're going to go ahead and start getting into some replays. I could just kind of talk you through why it works. And then obviously, this base will be burnt because of this video. So if you do copy this base and you plan on using it, just make sure that you're adjusting, some traps, maybe CC positioning or something. But the first hit is going to be a Sui Lalo, and this is going to be a fresh attack. And this is what I mean by people are kind of anticipating they could just kind of lure and poison. This is where the dragon is going to come in. So using that wall break in that general area that we talked about, he's going to go ahead and Sui his king and queen. And it's a good Sui. Kind of weird that the ice golem froze all the way there to the inferno. I thought that was kind of lucky, but it ends up working. Now he's going to use a freeze on the inferno because he doesn't want the king ability used too early. He wants to king ability through the RC. That way his queen can kind of pick up this scatter shot with no difficulty. And this Sui is very sizable. Gets a ton of value out of it. At this point, the Sui value on base is just kind of amplified because of the amount of heroes that you use on a Sui, but he's not going to get the eagle. Queen's going to kind of wrap outside the base now. And he's eating up a lot of time on the Sui. So this is like more than like a 40-second queen Sui. So he's going to use his RC up top and basically just trying to trim up pathing. You kind of see what he's doing here. He wants his path to be like here all the way through the base. And he's going to use the blimp for the town hall. So it gets both of those hounds in. Going to start hasting everything through. And that sweeper is going to cause him some some issues here. Queen's still doing her thing down there. Finally pops the ability. Scattershot's kind of teeing off. And then those Teslas over here are going to start throwing off his pathing into that air defense, which is going to make this hound pretty much wasted. And then he's got the dragon, the archers, everything kind of teeing off on his Lalo. He's going to go ahead and try to get a poison down. Gets the CC pretty reliably. He's going to poison over the queen and Skelly. Or he's going to poison the CC and Skelly the queen, which is good. Dragon comes out, kills the queen, no problem. And you're going to see that just because he didn't get the support from the killing the dragon, and he didn't get the support from the loons on the back side, those Teslas are just going to be too much for him to handle, and he ends up not getting that air defense down, which is going to take out his dragon. So that's defense number one. Okay, now the problem with these styles of bases isn't that it's easy to triple on a rehit, because what you're going to see here is they're going to start doing this attack more and more often. And I believe it actually comes down to 2 Sui Lalos. So where's the second one? I believe Pike went second. So again, another Sui Lalo. It's pretty much the exact same plan. I think the only thing they change is where he Sui's the RC. And by changing just that, yeah, so he's going to Sui the RC down here from 9 o'clock. And what he's going to try to do is keep the loons. One is lure the CC. And then 2, keep the loons from taking this area and kind of force everything through here. It's going to lure out the CC here. It's going to kill it with a poison and a baby dragon. Which again, if you count up all the time it takes to do the queen and the king Sui. And then the time he's taking here to do the CC kill and all that combined. It's a good sizable amount of time just to get through this. He's almost at a minute already on this attack. Granted, Sui Lalo goes very quick, especially if you bring enough cleanup, but he's just now getting that down. So probably would have got a triple here had he, like, once he knew that the CC was lured and poisoned and he had his baby dragon down, probably if he would have just got started earlier, this probably would have tripled. But again, making a base like this kind of, the CC is something that needs to be dealt with, because you can't just deal with it on the fly. So very nice base ID right here. He's still going for the freeze in order to give his king the same value. So go through the Sui again. Nothing really changes here. Now he's bringing more loons and 1 less hound. Now let's see why. So he soaks those 2 red mines, which isn't ideal, especially because they're soaking on the hounds. But boom, there goes 1 hound. So now he only has 1 hound for the rest of the base, and that second hound is gone. So now the only thing he has is the blimp and 30 loons. Still keeping 7 loons for the bag, but now he's fighting that sweeper. Sweeper's going to be kind of just leaving him in those eagle shells for a little while, and then sends in the blimp way, way behind. And what that's going to do is trigger the tornado on the loons. And these loons are going to start going down to the Giga Inferno. But he gets the perfect placement on the blimp. And again, this would have been a triple had he not took so long on the defense, or on the CC kill and the Sui. So, doing a rehit sometimes is difficult. And again, that corner air defense and those Teslas working in unison. He's getting very close. He's got the dragon, he's got the ward, and they could probably clean up the rest of the base, but that back end is just kind of slowing him down a lot. And at that point, once this final loon went down, even though this air defense had just like a sliver of health left, it's going to put out enough damage on the dragon, and time fell. So very nice hit from them, just a couple seconds short of a triple. And then that is going to lead into, I think they try to change up the plan. Let's see. Chris, and then, yeah, so this is going to be where they try to change up the idea. And he's going to be coming in with no Skellies. He's going to do the same RC Sui. Pretty much saying like, hey, we're killing the queen with the dragon. We don't need the freaking Skelly spells. Let's just bring extra spell support, like another freeze or another rage or whatever. Doing the exact same thing. Gonna lure everything over. And again, taking a sizable amount of time in order to do the CC kill. So ideally, you want to kind of have that plant maybe with a spotter on voice, using the regular wall breakers. Doesn't have super wall breakers. Boom, gets the wall break, and then the queen is actually gonna beeline down the wrong side of the base. So still gets a very valuable Sui, but he's not gonna get the second scatter shot, and that's just gonna prove to be overwhelming because he's not gonna get that same pathing through the base that he wanted or that they got previously. So now the base has become too wide, right? So now he has to go all the way here because he doesn't have the RC to trim here. So this is a very, very wide Sui Lalo. So you can see the wider the base gets, the farther out he has to start his loons. And you only have so many loons, especially with only 2 hounds. So starting even wider than before, trying to make up for that lost ground. Ends up finding the red bombs with the loons, and that's going to allow my scatter shots to just decimate them as they move through the base. So he's not going to actually make it through the attack. He's going to see that it's not worth it, and he's going to go ahead and back out. And now we will watch the triple that eventually got it. Now, funnily enough, it was a hybrid that ended up getting it. So they got super close on that, and this was super close on time too. So he's using the Yeti to funnel, which is, the Yeti makes an awesome funnel. And he's going to be charging his queen directly in here. And yeah, this was a good adjustment. I think they just realized that the Lalo was kind of baited. And this is also very dangerous because you're risking that healer swap. Granted, he played it very smart by using the king and then waiting on the healers before he dropped his queen. Ends up getting the Inferno kill with just a freeze, which is always very valuable. And the king ends up luring the full CC. Now, what I was hoping for here was that the king would only get a partial lure, and he would have to use the poison and then leave maybe the dragon in the CC for the hybrid. This is not the first time I've run this base, and that has happened in the past. But you can see he's going to be very patient because he knows that this can throw off his wall break. So he angled it from way down here. So that's just a good attacker kind of doing good attacker things. He ends up waiting on this building to go down and then sends it in from the bottom angle. So very nice there. He's going to get a ton of value on this queen charge, getting both scatter shots, the eagle, bomb towers, and everything. Queen's going to end up going down to the single inferno because that last wall breaker won't work. But he ended up bringing 3 wall breakers to negate what I talked about. If that other wall break would have went here, then it would have worked with the third one. So, the guy's playing it smart. CC goes, or the Town Hall goes down to the Yeti Bomb, and I thought this might actually hold here because he's out of spells at this point. Doesn't have a lot of base left, but he has the RC and the healer that's going to be kind of topping everything off underneath his rage, and it's going to get very close on time. He's lost all his hogs at this point, but this RC is insanely strong. So the miners head to the outside to start doing cleanup, and he gets that wall break in, uses that freeze. If those miners would have stayed outside the base and the RC would have died, this would have defended. I think he only had like 1 or 2 seconds left, and he ends up using the chain to get through the damage on the storage, which brings it very, very close. But because that chain got the damage off on the storage, RC is going to go ahead and finish the attack off. So, you can't expect your Town Hall 13 bases to defend 4 hits against a very good clan. We got some esport guys in this clan, so I was just impressed that it held that many times. And of course, if you just need to see the caliber of the attackers, these guys didn't even have to use 3 of their Town Hall 13 attacks because they just kind of smashed through our other Town Hall 13s, and that's kind of a risk that you take with base building. Sometimes bases work, sometimes they don't. So very good job to Clash United. And like I said, I'll be putting this base link in the description for the video, so you can copy that, use it as a farm base, use it as a war base, kind of use it to your heart's intent. And I hope you guys enjoy it. Big shout out to Hardtech. He is the creator behind that base. So I'm going to be posting a link to his base building server If you guys need, a really good war base for something coming out, like an ESL tournament, Hardtech is definitely the guy to be going to for this. I did a couple tweaks on that base, just based off of testing and things I saw. So, but I'm not going to take credit for the base. That was one of the ones that I got for Hardtech. Really supported me in the beginning when I was making my channel, so I bought some bases from him, and that one ended up being like super OP. So, big shout out to him. He's my favorite base builder. Uh, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoy the base. Works very well. And like I said, if you are interested in, purchasing a base or, a package of bases for a tournament, follow that link to the Discord server. That's going to be RH Base Building, and they'll get you set up. Usually it takes only a couple days, and you get a really strong base from those guys. So drop a like, leave a comment, share it with your clanmates, and big shout out to my beautiful wife. You are absolutely killing it, baby, and I really appreciate everything you're doing. I'm loving the new thumbnails. You're absolutely killing that, so keep it up. All right, guys, catch you on the next one. Take it easy.